How's it going, everybody? It's Stas here. So the stock market did not have too great of a day today, pretty much giving most, if not all, of the gains back from yesterday's session. The S&P 500 went down $34, down 1.1%. The Dow Jones almost $400 down 1.5%, with the Nasdaq finally pulling down. Tech stocks finally seeing some weakness here, down $80, down 0.75%. And in this video, we're going to be talking more about the markets, breaking down some technicals, going over where we could be headed across these major indexes as we're seeing finally a pull down starting, at least here in the stock market. And as always, I'm going to be breaking down what I've been doing in this market, as well as a bunch of stocks that I'm looking to trade as we're getting deeper into the month of July in 2020. So if you guys find value in this video, as always, hit that like button for me. Let's try to get 400 likes on this video, and check out all the free links down below in the description box if you want to be further connected with the Strive Smart community. And if you want 2 free stocks from Webull, one of them valued up to $1,400 if you deposit $100 into the account, that is how you get the free stocks. And again, all of those are linked down below in the description box. So let's just get started right now with the S&P 500. And if you guys are in the Discord chat, again, I'm not trying to pitch this thing, it's free, but we talk about a lot in that Discord chat. And we talked about how today 3175 was a very critical level on the S&P 500 for the bulls, right? And for the bears, because if it did get rejected there, that could have been a great opportunity for the bears. And now that we have hindsight, right, we can see it did get rejected there, and it was a great opportunity for the bears to short this thing. But let's get back to what I was saying a second ago. So 3175, this was a resistance from yesterday's session. Notice how in the beginning of the day and, a little bit towards, a couple hours later, in the middle of the day, heading into power hour yesterday, pretty much all day, 3175, we struggled until the close of the market. We closed at around 3180, and today we ended up gapping down, which told me, okay, we're going to have to test 3175 again, and yet again, we broke out of it, but we ended up failing to hold it yet again, right? We broke out to 3184, we failed to hold it, and we started to push down. And this is where, and you guys can see on the intraday chart, this is where the bears really started to gain momentum. You can see the head and shoulders here form, and again, ever since we took out 3175, this thing completely collapsed, right? So from 3175, the next level we were watching was 3165. So this thing over the past 2 days was pretty much trading in a 10-point window, 15-point window from 3165 to about 3175, 3180. And the second it took out 3165, I personally knew, and many people out there knew, that that's not good for the bulls, and it's probably going to go lower. So we broke 3175, 3165, and you guys can see we slipped even further heading into power hour today. Pretty ugly here on the S&P, quite honestly, the big slip that we saw. And we took out 3150 as well, which was a resistance from a couple weeks ago, actually more like last week, 7-10 days ago. 3150 was a big level of resistance, right? So we're back in the range now between 3120 and 3150. So for tomorrow, and by the way, is the market in full-on crash mode, guys? Absolutely not. This is simply, at this point in time, at the point of this recording, this is simply a pull down, right? It's simply a healthy pull down. Overall, if we take a look at, let's say, the 4-hour chart, you guys can see the markets are still in an uptrend. So we're talking about here a mini correction over the span, or since, yesterday, right? That's kind of what we're seeing here. And it's not even a correction, because the official definition of a correction, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is what? 10%, anything above 10% is a correction, and anything above 20%, I'm talking, let's say the market's dropped 25% and they stay there, that's considered a bear market. So 10% is correction, 20% is bear market. I mean, we're nowhere near 10%. We've fallen about 1.3%, but again, this could be the start of maybe a 3 to 4% little sell-off, maybe a 5% pull down, right? And again, if we break 3120, which is the bottom of this range here on the S&P, that is where we might see even further selling. But quite honestly, at this point, and you guys know I'm not biased on either side, whether I'm not a bull or a bear in this particular time period. I'm just trading the technicals, and the technicals are telling me that 3120 is likely to hold based on the previous movement of the S&P based on the moving averages here, right? You can see the moving averages held over the past couple of days, being the 50 SMA and the 180 SMA on the hourly chart. So watch for 3120. This could be a very nice potential dip buy on the S&P. And again, if we break that, that is where more selling could kick in, with the next price target being around 3,060 to 3,065. And when we pull up the Dow Jones here, again down 400, and we're trading in a similar range as the S&P, not as tight, but we're trading between 25,800 and around 26,400. That's the little range that we're trading in here, and you guys can clearly see it. Ever since the middle of June is where we've been in this thing, and you guys can see that we actually closed right around 25,800 today. We held that as a support, as well as this 50 SMA on this hourly chart. So quite honestly, yeah, we are seeing a lot of bearish pressure. I believe Boeing actually dragged down the Nasdaq quite a bit today. Boeing was down around 5%. And going back to the Dow Jones, I mean, the fact that yeah, we are seeing a sell-off, it doesn't mean that we're in a crash mode right now. No doubt about it. We're still holding the uptrend. Again, the 50 SMA is still holding. That 25,800 level is still holding. So for now, the bulls in the short term are in charge. But tomorrow, watch 25.8. If we break, we might start filling down at 25,100, right? Does that mean it's going to fall all the way to 25,100 in a day? No, but it might take, let's say, maybe if we sell off these next couple of days, hey, at the end of the week, we might be able to get to 25,100. So watch that level of support on this hourly chart. It is very critical, in my opinion, heading into tomorrow. And quite honestly, out of all the indexes, the Nasdaq's the one that I can see pulling down even further. But, excuse me, guys, I'm not sure if it will, because we all know that tech stocks have kind of been viewed as a flight of safety at this point. I mean, we see Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Netflix all at all-time highs, so people might start jumping in at any sign of a pull down. So again, we saw the Nasdaq pull down, meaning big tech pull down. Apple pulled down a bit today. Amazon pulled down a bit today, 2%. I mean, Google pulled down about 1%. Microsoft pulled down about 1.2%. So this can literally be the only dip we get in the Nasdaq. No joke, guys. I mean, with how people have been buying up tech, I would not be surprised if people started buying these tech stocks at this point. But keep an eye on the Nasdaq in general, because again, although people have been buying up these tech stocks, they might fall a bit more before people start loading up into them yet again. So the Nasdaq could pull down. You guys know I've been saying around 10,000 and 10,100. Will we get there? Possible, but with how the markets have been this hot, I don't know if we get there. I guess a more realistic level could be maybe 10,100, let's say 10,200. So watch around there. That would be very healthy. And again, at that point, I'd expect maybe people flooding back into these tech stocks to bid them even higher, as again, many people are viewing them as safe haven investments, at least in the stock market. And speaking of a safe haven investment, gold, guys. Gold broke 1800 yet again today. Very bullish move today in gold. We got a nice hold at 1785, old resistance, as a new support today. And I think this might be the first time, I could be wrong, but it might be the first time that we actually closed above 1800. So I haven't been more bullish on gold as I am right now in a while. I mean, we've been talking about 1750, 1700. That was a big level a couple weeks ago, right? We broke 1750. That's kind of what spurred this rally to take out the highs at 1785 from back in April. Now that we took those highs out, and we actually held them. We retested them as a new support and rallied and closed at 1810, 1807, guys. I mean, this is looking extremely bullish. So I'm glued onto the gold stocks at this point as well. I mean, I love regular stocks, but I also like gold. I'm a fan of gold. I don't talk about it too much on the channel, but I think it's good to have a little bit of your portfolio in gold. And again, I'm not a financial advisor. Always do your own due diligence. I'm just saying what I personally do, and I do own gold. And in fact, I actually just bought, a little side note here, I bought a 1/4 ounce, what was it, an American 2020 Liberty coin, the U.S. Eagle coin. That should be coming in here in a little bit. Spent about $500 on that, so I'm interested in gold. I collect it. Quite honestly, I'm into it like that. You know, my grandfather's passed me down some coins from his day, which are really special to me, so I'm into it, and I think it's going to keep going. You know, looking at it from how the monetary system's working right now, the government's printing money ridiculously, right? Gold, you can't print it. So I'm a fan of gold at this point. Bitcoin as well, although I think Bitcoin's a bit more speculative. I own Bitcoin as well. And let me know down below in the comments, what do you guys think? But at this point, I'm long on gold, and we'll get into some options I'm in here with GDX in a second. But let me know down below your thoughts on the markets, your thoughts on gold in general, and safe haven assets in general. So let's talk about what I personally did and a quick update on some of these call options I'm in. I've been in these for a while at this point that are finally starting to heat back up as gold, guys, has been pushing up very aggressively over the past couple of weeks. So GDX is one that, quite honestly, if you guys have been following me for 3-4 months at this point, you know that I've been in and out of GDX a lot, right? Many trades in this ETF, and I'm also long in call options. And again, the call options I'm in, they've been coming back to life recently ever since GDX broke out of this downwards wedge here. Ever since we took out 32, 33 and we started this bullish rally, these calls have been on fire. So the calls I'm in right now are the September 18th, 2020 $40 call options. And let me open up my Webull app very quickly to tell you guys how much those options were up today. And I personally use Webull for options. Again, you guys can get 2 free stocks. Link down below in the description box if you simply deposit $100 into the platform. And I've been loving my experience with Webull options. You guys can also check. I have a video on Webull options. Just type in my name with Webull options if you guys are interested in that. But overall today, I mean, these were up. Let me see. Let me see. Let's see. I think they were up about 10-15% today, 20% today. They had a very good day. And quite honestly, I might add more to this options position. I didn't add more to it today, but I might buy some more contracts in that account. And quite honestly, I'm looking to buy some shares in GDX as well the next time we see some sort of pull down, maybe some sort of consolidation, let's say around $37, $36.50. I'm going to be pulling the trigger on some shares as well as maybe some more call option contracts, maybe that expire in September, maybe October, November. We'll see what ends up happening there. And you guys know yesterday I got into Workhorse, ticker symbol WKHS, and let me tell you guys, this thing was very volatile today. We ended up going back down to test $14, which we tested back on the 1st. And as we did that, and I saw we held that level, I said, okay, I'm going to add more to it. So I ended up adding more at $15.25, bringing down my average cost to about $16.40. So at this point, I'm swing trading this one. I'm in the green at this point, around 45 cents, and I feel comfortable holding onto it. Actually, no, I'm not in the green because after hours here, it's down to about 16.30. It actually closed at 16.85, but I feel comfortable holding it back to about $20. That's where my goal sell target is right now in terms of this swing trade when it comes to Workhorse. And that's all I ended up doing today. And you guys know I'm also in Ulta, ULTA. But in terms of fresh positions, I only picked up Workhorse. And I'm just looking to add some more into these gold stocks and maybe more into Ulta if we end up confirming a push back into the mid-200s and into the $210 level. And you guys know, although I am playing offense, I always talk about playing offense in the stock market by being maybe not too aggressive. You guys always have to, assess your own risk tolerance, but I'm a believer in always being in the market, right? And also always being defensive and stacking cash, waiting for opportunities. So at this point, as the markets could be seeing a pull down soon, I'm also stacking a little bit more cash than normal so I can have the opportunity to maybe bite in some of these pull downs if we get more of pull downs, maybe across some tech stocks or maybe across some of these stocks that we're going to talk about right now. So let me know some of your comments and thoughts down below on my trades. What have you guys been doing? And let's talk a bit about some of these stocks that I'm watching. First one is NVAX, also known as Novavax, which was up 31% today as it announced that it was awarded $1.6 billion from the U.S. government to help accelerate the late-stage development and manufacturing of its CV vaccine candidate, and that was reported by Reuters. So, and we all know at this point, right? When it comes to these individual stocks or these companies that manufacture vaccines, they try and test vaccines. We all know when a piece of news comes out that it's positive, it always shoots the stock up. And I mean, for the most part. And this was very positive, guys. And take a look. NVAX back in the month of November was $3 per share. I can't even imagine somebody, owning that thing back in November and now holding it till now. I wonder if there's anybody out there that actually bought at $3 and is still holding on right now. I doubt anybody out there watching this video is. If you are, let me know down below. But that is a ridiculous gain. I mean, from $3 to $100, that's insane. So at this point, I mean, I've been getting questions about this one. We got very good news today, but at this point, I would wait to see it cool off a bit before getting in, quite honestly. Maybe a cool off to about 89, maybe $90. That could be a point where we do see some sort of support. I mean, we've seen it pop before and cool off, so I can see it doing that again. And we can see it here, I mean, on the hourly chart, holding this EMA. This could also be a bull flag at the end of the day as well. So we have to see kind of which direction it picks here. If it ends up dumping down, again, we can fill down to $89, $90. So watch NVAX. There is a lot of hype behind it, and it could even go higher. We just have to see, again, which direction it ends up picking. And another one here that I love is AbbVie, ticker symbol ABBV, and over the past couple of days, this one's broken out of a pretty critical resistance, and now I'm thinking that, and plus, a lot's going for this company, I'm thinking we can end up filling the gap now to 107. No problem, right? Because you can see, again, it's been kind of in this range, 95, $100. It's been squeezed in that range. Now that we're breaking out, a lot of momentum is going to come. So $100 up to 107, I can see that happening, no problem. That's 7% upside. How long will it take? Nobody knows how long it'll take to get up there, but I think it's worth the wait, at least for me. And this is a stock that I've been buying, and not in my swing account, but in my long-term portfolios. I've been buying this because it has the price appreciation potential, and it has a nice dividend with a very solid dividend growth rate. I believe the 5-year dividend growth rate is around 20%. I could be mistaken. That's according to Seek and Alpha. I could be mistaken, but I think it's around 20%. So AbbVie, I'm watching it here for a breakup. Upwork is another one that did well today and that we've been talking about. Up 38 cents, up 2.6%. And looking a bit deeper into Upwork, very bullish move today. We actually hit 1530 a couple days ago. We talked about that. Pulled down. We held 1430 a couple days ago, and today we held 1430 again. So this is good, guys. This could be a double bottom potential breakout on Upwork. From 1480 where it closed, now maybe up to 1530 to 1570, which gives it about a 3 to a 6 to a 5% potential for profits. So right now, it's looking bullish in my opinion. Again, we did well. We closed green while the markets were red in general. And you guys know, I mean, even above 1560, 1570, Upwork has a lot more potential. I'm thinking it can go to $17. I'm thinking it can go even back into the 20s at some point. And this is a stock that many people believe is a CV stock at the end of the day. I mean, Upwork, very similar to Fiverr, freelance gigs, and so forth. This stuff is doing very good right now, or rather, very well for the grammatically correct people out there. Let me know your thoughts on Upwork. Another one here is CL. Very boring, but Colgate-Palmolive is one of those stocks that has been doing well in this time period. And speaking of squeezing into a range that's about to burst, I mean, take a look. CL has been trapped under 74, 75, 73 to 75, that $2 level. It's been trapped there for months. I mean, take a look. Like, it literally months, guys. Even stemming back to about a year ago, it failed to break out of 74, 75 bucks. We did break out momentarily back in February of this year to $77. So I'm thinking, if we take out 74, 75, and especially in the time period we're in, where this is considered a safe stock, a stock that won't really suffer, the business won't suffer too much due to everybody needing, toothpaste. I mean, come on, that's a basic necessity, right? So if we break 74, 75, I can see this thing getting back to 77 bucks. And let's take a look. I mean, has it broken above 77 before? No. So it could be even going to an all-time high at that point. So watch Colgate at that level. And NEO, guys, NEO was on fire today, up 14%. It's almost back to its high at 1380, which was its high roughly after it IPO'd before. I'm not too sure. Actually, not before it IPO'd, but I don't know if it IPO'd. I forget what price it IPO'd at, but its high was 1380. Now we are at 1320, and the volatility on this thing is unbelievable. We were down at 1090 today, and it rallied about 20%, 30% from that point, almost to $14. So this could be institutional money coming in. This can be some big investors coming in, Wall Street, who knows? NEO at this point is just unbelievably on fire, and for me, guys, I own the stock long term. You know that. I own it in the $3 range roughly. But when it comes to a swing trade, I'm not really looking to get in. I mean, today was an opportunity. Quite honestly, I missed it. I know people in the chat took advantage, but I'm not looking to get in until we see another pull down. Whether it's $12, whether it's $11.50, I'm going to be ready with cash for that opportunity. But until then, I'm just watching it and just being patient to see if it does end up pulling down, because I don't want to force anything. That's the last thing I want to do in this market. So 2 video game stocks I'm watching: ATV, which is Activision Blizzard. This one's at a pretty critical resistance at this point. You guys can see right around $80, $79. We closed under it today, although we did break it momentarily. And above $80, the next level we can end up getting to is $81.50, maybe $84.50, right? Which are the highs previously to this big drop that we saw across the whole sector of video game stocks, including, the next one we're going to talk about, which is Electronic Arts. So watch for the move 80 to 85 here on Activision Blizzard. Electronic Arts took out 130. That's a very big resistance. It was a big resistance from back in 2018, right after the big crash of the video game stocks, the beginning of the crash at least. So from 130 up to 140, 150, especially as the new gaming systems are coming out, new video games are coming out, I don't see that as being too big of a stretch. So I'm watching EA, especially if it pulls down maybe to 130, 125. I mean, that could be a great entry on the way back up to the middle of this range, anywhere from the high 130s, 140, and maybe even eventually $150. So those are the main stocks. And again, like I mentioned earlier, I'm also watching these tech stocks as they have been the flight to safety stocks in this environment. So although we can see the markets go down maybe, you guys have to realize the markets could not go down. They might just continue pushing up, especially if we get more stimulus and so forth. If the Fed keeps using their tools, which they will, we might continue going up. So we might literally be seeing just tiny pull downs in these tech stocks before they just rip right higher. So watch for these dips. I'm watching them on Microsoft. That's a pretty sizable one, about $4 or $5 per share. Google took a pretty decent dip. Amazon down about 2%. People can start buying this up. I wouldn't be surprised. And the only green one was Facebook. At this point, Facebook's down about 10% or $10 from its highs today at about $247. So I'm watching these couple of stocks. I'd love to know what you guys have to think down below. Let me know what stocks you guys are watching. And again, my challenge for you on this video is to get it to 400 likes. And don't forget to consider subscribing to the channel and getting your 2 free stocks from Webull valued up to $1,400. All you have to do is deposit $100 into the platform, and you get those 2 free stocks after 5 to 7 business days. So yeah, that's down below in the description box. I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. As always, stay safe out there. Peace out.